Hello and welcome to part 11, which is the final part of this knitting machine restoration video. When I left you in part 10, the pattern drum was not patterning properly, and so apart from the fact I've done a bit of dodgy knitting there, I've actually fixed it. You can see it's now patterning nicely across the whole thing. Here's a tuck stitch, and what I had to do was I had to adjust the position of where the drums were in the carriage, and I had to adjust the position of where these things were set into the bed. They need to come forward a bit. So now I've done that, this is all ready to go. Now I'm just going to run through a couple of the bits that didn't come with the machine, so you can see what it was that wasn't included in this, let's not forget, advertised as fully working and complete machine. So here are all the bits that didn't come with the machine. First thing is a accessories box and a lid. Now, to be fair, you can use the machine without that, although it's a pain to store it. Okay, next thing across, the weaving brushes. You can't do any weaving work without that, but apart from that, that's all right. This is the carriage lock. That holds the carriage in place, so you can't transport it, but you can use it. The brush is for cleaning the needles. I suppose you can use it without that, but it'll get fairly dirty fairly fast. The punch card clips are for holding the punch card in a circle. But that's all right because it didn't come with any punch cards, so you couldn't have done any patterning anyway. But without these, you can only do maximum of 40 rows of patterning. These things are worth pointing out. These are yarn separators. So when you're doing two-colour knitting, they go in like that, and they slip under the needles, and then these things just hold the two strands of yarn apart. You need one at each end. And let me show you what happens if you don't have them. So here is a piece of knitting which I have done. And the bottom part is without yarn separators. And can you see that you've got little bits and bobs of colour showing through every now and again where the yarns get mixed up. And the top part, just the top few rows, I've done with yarn separators, and you should be able to see that all that stops and you've got much better. So the yarn separators don't stop you from doing pattern knitting, but they stop you from doing accurate pattern knitting. Okay, what else have we not got? These are single motif cams, and these are what's used because they go on the bed like, let's have a look, like so, okay? And what they do is they allow you to do patterning in just one area of the bed across this width. So there's 4 of those, and without the cams in those, you can't do any single motifs. That's just nice to have. That's a tension swatch measuring device. 2 weights without which you can't do any knitting. A needle sponge bar pusher. It's just a nice tool. You can use a screwdriver instead. These 3 transfer tools, without which you can't increase or decrease, so you can knit straight things like scarves. These basically are just nice to have. They're needle selectors, which help you push forward every other needle, for example. So again, it's more or less a nice to have, but you'd be there for ages selecting all the needles if you didn't have these. And then the ravel cord, without which you can't cast on. So that's quite a lot of stuff, most of which you cannot use the knitting machine without. So now it's got all these things and I've tidied it all up, what's going to happen is this is going to be tidied up and put on my website for sale. And as you can see, it is complete. It's cosmetically not amazing, but it does work. It's mechanically very sound. And actually, I think that it will make somebody a very good starter or spare machine. It's been lovely to see you here. Why am I saying that? I haven't seen you here. No one's watched it yet. But in theory, it's been lovely to see you here. And I hope you enjoyed this series on restoring a knitting machine. Thank you very much.